Hello, everybody. It is Jump Talk. We are back. Welcome to the new year. It's a beautiful new year. I'm excited. Everybody's excited. We love you, audience. I'm so glad you're listening. And say hello, Dr. Jeb, to the audience, please.
Oh, I would be just so grateful just to give you guys a great thumbs up where things are, especially people like in England, of course, and Australia, and other places, of course, across the globe a bit, of course, here in Turtle Island. So I'm glad everybody's been tuning in. So anyway, we've got this distinguished guest, Sasha.
Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Jeb. I forgot to tell you, it's been a while. Today's subject, leptin and kinetin.
Leptins. Oh my
Kinetin's
God.
right?
Empty, that's unbelievable.
No.
That's like leptins.
Leptin.
Yeah,
How
that's
you
right.
spell
Well, leptin.
Lipton's iced tea.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
so how do you
That's the way to
spell
remember
this?
it. Leptin is actually a type, Leptin.
Okay, and then kinetin?
Kintin, Kenetin, kinetin.
K-E-N.
Tin, kinetin. ITN.
Wait a minute, I got K-I-N-E-T-I-N.
That's it.
Is that it?
Yes, kinetin.
All right.
Yeah, right. They're new, isn't it? But they're real small. They could be annoying to most people because they're so small.
Well,
It's
we're
like,
going to find
no,
out all
but
about
these things
that.
do
We're
exist.
going to
Trust
find
me.
out all about that. But first, we're going to find out about your special guest today, Sasha.
Sasha.
Good evening, my brothers.
What about your sisters?
Well, my sisters
Well,
out
we've got
there.
a lot of sisters
big up to
actually.
my
We're
brothers and
empty.
my sisters out there.
My sisters are joining in
The
there.
brothers present amongst me, feeling good for the connection under the sun. And big love to everyone out there in Avalon.
It sounds like you're from
Australasia.
Mexico. Where are you from?
I'm actually from Britain.
All right.
Yeah. Out of Avalon, yeah.
Well,
I've been living in the Isle of Avalon.
we love our friends from across the
Well,
pond.
what happened when it wasn't an island though? I mean, Avalon actually was inland on the
What?
maps. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Even Cornwall was.
What are we talking?
Well, before Doggerland was like, that was where everybody was. Doggerland. And then in Friesland, that was when there was lands that was all above, the ocean sort of, well and truly, oceans all come in more, and get the, but Doggerland got sunk when there was all those finger-like projections that's in Norway. They had a huge collapse of a shelf, and that shelf collapsed and created such a massive tidal wave
And that's how we ended
it
up
washed
with,
right over
what
England.
again?
It washed over England.
England.
It washed over them. It sort of got a telltale sign of that.
So England had to go through some changes before it was able to deal with Sasha.
Well, Cornwall was really inland at that point. That's what I'm just pointing out. So, and Avalon and all these areas actually. Yeah. But right. It's good to know a
I
bit
don't
about your
remember
history.
what Britain was
but-
called before, but it does begin with an A, but I can't.
What?
Yeah, I've been spoken to English people.
That's okay.
Oh, I don't know if our listeners could hear what Sasha said. It was
It
sort
was
of,
intended. I smoked too much weed today. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
yeah.
highly encouraging this part
The
of the
very
world.
thing which everybody has is leptins, of course, which cause you to be able to, go through the day and not have to eat anything but feel really high. Like, have you ever heard of like a runner's high?
Yeah.
People sort of. I mean, you probably haven't ran yourself, but
I
no, I know you have.
Way back in the day.
We don't have to tell everybody you are an athlete, especially a
Now,
tennis
I
player.
have
But
no
hold
idea
on.
what a runner's high is. Now,
Okay, all right. Yeah, you see, so it's sort of, it's like amazing because suddenly it's like, it feels so complete. You don't want to eat. You just don't have to. It's like, how can I better this? It's like, no, I can't.
Okay,
You're
so
struggling to try to figure out what to do
before
where
we
you've
get
got
too far-
leptins, you see.
Before we get too far,
Right.
what basic, a quick definition or description, what do leptins
Leptin,
and kinetins, right?
yeah.
What do they do?
They're a base molecule, which, oh my God, they're so incredible. They're so small, you see. And so you've got to have your Brunner gland. The word Brunner in English, it sort of means when you're brimming, or you're brinning, or you're brunning. It means that you're overflowing. It's sort of called like a word which means wellspring. But your brunner gland is so unbelievable, of course, because it's one of the largest glands that we have, and it provides substance which helps micronize and makes molecules really small. But these molecules are created ever more, like where somebody feels more sweet in life.
You know what else makes molecules really small?
Yeah.
My mouth when I'm eating.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, what's the quick
Yeah,
thing
you forgot about that. See, it's more practical. It's like, what do you mean? How many times did you chew that stuff? It's like, that's true. Okay, so you have to drink things. That's right. So
what's the kinetin?
Kinetin is when DNA is hydrolyzed, meaning it's made smaller, and now you've got a material that's there which can make new nucleic acid and things is like that.
So these work together?
Wow. Yeah, you need to know. You see, leptin turns things on or off, sort of thing. It's so radical, right? And kinetin gives you the ability to make DNA.
And they work together too.
Well, when you're feeling high in life, it's an amazing thing, these are things which about longevity molecules. Resveratrol is sort of something people could have heard a bit about. Glucagon is another one, which is a hormone, which is so amazing, of course, you're supposed to have it. But you can only have it like if you've got live food or you've got something which is more enzymatically active, sort of thing.
So when these things are working together, or just working or whatever, does it make you smile?
It's a funny thing that they sure do. So it's interesting, like when somebody's even munched on a nice pizza or something, you're going to have some of these substances that are released. But then after the fact of what that is, how long did it last for, what is more permanent. But the very thing that actually like yogis and all these people like long time past have shown is that where somebody just has zero dialogue inside themselves, they have these two brain waves which are sort of flatliners. It's sort of flatliners. It's like what you do, which I saw quietly in the garden. You were doing things to be more an athlete about holding your breath, and I was thinking, I've never seen anybody be an athlete like this. And I said, do you know what you do? And he said, yes, I do. And I said, wow. I said, that's amazing. I said, because you're an athlete about this. I said, I've been trying to teach people actually, to hold their breath more or to actually be in samadhi state, which is sort of like a state of letting go completely.
It's funny you mention that because I'm holding my breath and I want to make sure I'm holding it long enough to where I reach that state.
You see, because turtle is sort of is the metaphor, isn't it, of like a steadiness about things. That's one thing.
Steady wins the race.
And MT is sort of like what our topic is a lot about.
What David has been trying to teach me about over and over and over again all afternoon. Just presence and emptiness. It's just like
think about the anxiety. What does it mean to present? Because these substances cause this, and we just said, if it's enzymatically active, it's real small. Once it's cooked up, it gets coagulated, and it ends on resistance, so it can't be broken down too much. But the other thing is it doesn't have a zeta potential, so it can't quite get into these really small spaces, which is sort of like when you go down to a grain on a piece of wood and you can't really look down in there with a magnifying glass, you might be able to see a tiny small grain. It's like, wow. It's like, that's like a DNA. So, and down there, it's so small, and it's bothersome to most people because you think, how does anything sort of have any shoulder room down there? So you're looking, you see. And now you tell people that there's 6 feet of DNA down there. And it's annoying to the average person to think about like how there could be 6 feet of DNA in a pinprick there, see. And how are you going to get... you see, sort of. I mean, but this is what I sort of, my whole investigation has been sort of to enlarge it completely, and even sort of like a light molecule. Everybody listening, they know that damn no, light's very slow. Dark is much faster, see, and then light always comes out of dark. Not the other way around. Never so, no. But if you go upstream, like where do you go? Right to the DNA. You see, and what's managing the DNA? Well, the act and the modifiedness of what the behaviour is, it's DNA the most. And so somebody doesn't have need, they're in a non-biased state, sort of like they're just in a non-biased state.
And that's the best way to be. It's hard to get politicians think about that.
But the best one does the best because it's always the best story that out.
That's right.
Because
Well, even around the world, it's taken over our country. Thank goodness. Common sense, we need it. It's important, and my point is that
versus like smacking people around or what have you. That's just not right. You know what I mean? Most people would prefer to give to our neighbours, please.
Don't be a dick.
Sorry, but
don't be a dick.
People in Portugal. If this one has a look around the world, I'd like to know. But what about the English people too? I mean, they're looking at American. Sorry, the English people looking at American. Sorry.
Americans, English people, but when I come here, I'm like, it must be friendly actually. It's like a whole, hi, thank you, just appreciation for each other's like existence, dynamic today kind of thing. I've been seeing it just a little bit more here than it was. Yeah, people are a bit cold there.
But well,
aversive.
Is it because if you're quote from it, it's like just the these sorts of things impact people, don't they?
Yeah.
Like can see that but what about if your eyes wasn't? Yeah.
Oh, what?
Anything, in fact, like you see the sunset, you can see trees, you see. But do you think people might not? But they plan a horizon in your own self. It's like wonderful, actually. You know what I mean?
Back to the
leptins.
Yeah. What is it again? What does it do?
Okay, so first of all, we just said you could remember the feeling, and people have told you about a runner's high. What about a contact high? Have you ever heard that one?
I've had it many times.
Okay, so that's leptins. That's leptins that let you do this. Also, to be able to keep it going, what else do you need?
Is that like
kinetin?
Is that like kind of like a mirroring?
Yeah, because you need to create something which you're commanding. So you're the source, and now the source is sort of part of the meal.
So leptin and kinetin.
But you're the source, and this creates these things. You see, it's a long life.
So these two things give you a high or a feeling of a high.
Well, they switch off, let's say, attachment to hunger and all that sort of stuff. It just switches it off. It's just because it doesn't rate.
What else?
Yeah, well, that's really needed here in the U.S. With our obesity problem. We need a lot of it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we would have these things because we did say that if your adrenal gland was working, right? But then if it's not, it's like, what's up with this? You see, it's like, is the adrenal gland the thing? You say, yes, it is, but the adrenal can only work if your pancreas is functional. You see, now most people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
So important.
Yeah, exactly. So glucagon, like we mentioned, this is as important as.
Insulin.
Insulin. It's as important as insulin. Everybody's heard of insulin, but have you heard of
glucagon?
Right.
Oh, and that reminds me.
See, glucagon. Yeah. Why should we not hear about glucagon?
That reminds me, glucagon. I'm going to make that into a t-shirt. And we have our first t-shirt.
Unlimited. Cha-ching.
Bull Dust. It's a PG version of bullshit. It's Bull Dust. It's our first Jump Talk T-shirt, and you can get there at jumptalk.printify.me. Check it out. Help the movement.
You'll have to actually put that as a button or something people can see it at the site. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's got to be quick and easy. But shouldn't you have a T-shirt which says Bull Dust on it? I don't think that's a good one. But what else would you have? I mean,
glucagon.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's glucagon. Is this one? Are you promoting things which is useful to people?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, well, that's really good because it's so people like to be involved in where their life is meaningful. You see.
Yes.
It's because why would you want to be involved in something where your life is not meaningful?
Okay, so
because you wouldn't have leptins and
you were
kinetin.
talking about the what gland?
The bone gland, because you master
Can you
it
tell
where you have
if
sweetness.
somebody just by them talking?
Yes, you can tell. Oh, yeah. Straight away. Oh, because you can hear how the quality of the colloid that's in the plasma. You can hear it. It's like let's see, a clarity. So where something is exact like a clarity, you can have no airspace much in there. Versus like as we get older or something gets pretty crooked, you know what I mean? It can slowly but sure suddenly the voice starts to go with more like, I don't know how we describe it. No, I'm sure. It's very there you go.
What?
Yeah, see, that was a good example. Okay, but so there's a lot of
My voice was
air in the voice. Yeah, air in the voice. So the other thing is also too that when somebody like mates everybody, they're always in the note of G.
When you what?
They're in the note of G.
When what?
They're down there in the note of G where their sound is.
Most everybody's in the note of G.
Well, your mates are always because it's just not. They're not being sitting there concerned about anything. Do you know what I mean?
So
right. So they're in the note of G mainly. Yeah.
The more detachment we have.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes. Oh, yeah. Right. So the more like the worse would be the note of.
Really?
Yeah. Hey.
So A bad, G good.
Well, G is sort of coming from your belly sort of thing because if somebody's only coming from the note of A, it's not too good. But then the quality of the voice also like could have a lot of air in it. Another thing could be like, can you hear how much the voice is resonant with three chambers that we have like. You've got the guttural, like you can hear the gutturals, that stuff. And then you've got a sort of a dental sound.
Okay.
Dental.
Okay.
And then you have a nasal sounds.
Really?
Yeah, three sounds. So there are three chambers, and you can hear straight away. I mean,
experts in all sounds.
You've got to be able to hear those three chambers. You can hear what's going on more in the body, sort of thing.
Sasha, what kind of expertise are you in? What are you familiar with?
Like the things I've been most studied in, I think the things I've been focusing on are nutrition, detoxification, like the past 5 years, trauma after a car accident, after a unfortunate series of traumatic events. And now
leptins are going to be good.
David's pleasure inhibits aversion is something I'm moving towards. Like instead of being trauma informed, becoming more and more pleasure informed.
Healing.
And how much that opens up
I think we all should be more
neocortex.
How relaxed somebody's shoulders are,
ability
you know,
to strategize.
and how relaxed their tummy is and things just like this.
Relax your shoulders, America.
Yeah, and then
And the world.
and then you know how fresh and clean and these sorts of things people are basically. But this is where something isn't going on like that. They call it mess nest.
A mess nest.
It's called mess nest. Have you ever heard that where
That
they
sounds very simple.
have these in the labs in the universities, sort of the rats and stuff, when they get mess nest? It's kind of not right.
Oh,
No,
right.
it ain't right. Mess bad.
Yeah, well, around here because cleanliness is equivalent to God, which is, I think it's okay. People should get that. I mean, you know,
It's good habit.
you're so friendly about it. But anyway, so over in England and other places like this, you know, they have the word tonging, you know what I mean? So tonging, somebody could like, wow, these are aero life colloid, which cause you to feel like amberine and vanilla, little like a cinnamon.
And these are important for?
Well, these are qualities that come out. We've got leptin and kinetin and things that's like this, you see. So it's an interesting thing because it's the smallest molecules, mate, and like in oils and things that's like this. But aero life colloid, like when you're in the forest, of course, like we're at the beach or ocean like this, you're getting iodine, you're getting selenium. Most of us are not aware, but you've got fresh air. Wow, this is like huge, it can be, see. Versus like you live in this place and it's like not too much fresh air, you see.
I love fresh air.
Well, we get a lot of copper, we get zinc because of aero life colloid. Yeah. I've been teaching people about this one. It's like, when will it catch on? But, essential oil and the things that's like this, which is in the food, if it's preserved, it's got these kinetins and leptins coming back to those molecules again.
Now, what's the best way to ingest leptins and kinetins?
It's an incredible thing, but it comes to be a science more where somebody could know that what's in essential oil and things that's like that has these properties and things it has. But it's a value of the things which has the fragrance. But when you cook things, that the cooking of it can sometimes lose that part and it doesn't have its zeta potential anymore. So it can't kind of get into the DNA kind of thing, you know what I mean? Because we really talk about how small that hole is to get through there.
All right, what's the best way to get it in?
And it's annoying to most people because it's way too small. We'd see it's only 30 or 40 nanometers.
I've got a question about the leptins.
Oils do.
Is it like the behaviour influences the state? Like with leptins, it's like they're not actually contained in things, but they're contained in.
They're created like life colloids. See, so
how would you get the leptin into your body?
Well, these things happen when somebody has a little nutmeg, or they have margarine, or you have a whole bunch of spice-like things, which is aromatics. Because like when you eat food stuff, it's the sauce that you like. The substrate that what's there. It's like going to do a carrier. But it can't be like, no, it's a sauce that's around us.
Yeah.
So the vast majority of it is sort of blank plastic, okay, with a bit of sauce sort of thing on it. But it's a sauce sort of thing that mostly interesting to people where the food is, you see. So it's the sauce, and it's basically leptins, believe it or not, and kinetin that's in there. And what do these molecules make?
DMT.
All right.
DMT.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, but that's right. They make DMT.
The aromatics.
So leptin and kinetin make DMT.
Yeah, well, you see now they're found in a whole range of things like terpenes.
Oh, I love terpenes.
Okay.
All
So
right.
what's a terpene that causes you to feel like laughing?
Marijuana terpenes.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that has limonene in it.
Limonene, yeah.
And that limonene, it gives you a clue, doesn't it? Limonene, okay. And then you've got a whole range of other things like, that make you laugh and things. But these are all very small molecules that fit where a leptin is itself. You've got kinetin then, and this is made from DNA being hydrolyzed in the body. And these are things which is just by annihilation, a feeling of like a lambda wave sort of happening 1 to 5 to 11 seconds or something, which natural. But it could be happening, it means that you're really like a fast gamma wave that you have, and most people around you, they'll be more in an alpha rhythm because of it.
Alpha rhythm?
Yes.
Well, because
it will cause them to be more
because
in an alpha rhythm.
Radiating
Well, you yourself, it's a flat wave, but it's got fast gamma there, like, my God, it's fast.
What do most people operate?
It's like a flute wave.
Most people buzzing around.
Coming back full circle, where like empty Turtle was talking just before about like breath holding, more or less. It is when you hold your breath, which is still. What's happening when you're still? You see, and how many times do you become still? You see, yes. So this is you were doing it for seconds for a long time. You were saying, listen, I'm measuring how long the bloody hell I could be still for. You said, I was thinking, damn, this is freaking athletic. I've never heard anybody except for someone who would have done my work.
Well,
And he said, I've never heard much about you, you said, but I know that being still is a good thing.
when it comes to holding my breath, I am extremely athletic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So some people, you become better at it. Most people, not too good.
Probably one of the best.
But so when you've got emptiness, you've got this stillness within. There's nothing better like putting movement in there. No, stillness is, you can't get better than stillness. What else? Okay, so how about silence? That's good. Well, you can't do silence. No, you can't. Well, you can, but mostly you can't. Okay. And then what about like having to show people stuff and what have you? It's like, well, you know, when you don't need to have to show anybody anything, it's like, you know, what about the power of that? Go. Well, so it's the power really of stillness, silence, and transparency, and this is more where you and I are more in our formlessness, where power is itself, versus we took a position somewhere with something, and it's like, what's left after that? It's sort of really a lot of selective bias and these sorts of things goes on where that is itself. But coming back full circle, you said like these molecules are so small, MT. You see, yes, especially chylomicrons of lipid, and it's the fragrance that carries all the metals we need in an atom level, like zinc. Zinc's a good one.
So we could just inhale these?
Yeah, we are. You are. It's 70% more or something like of the fragrance, or excuse me, the minerals that you have in your brain have come about from fragrance or more. Matter of fact, look, I'm lowballing it. I always lowball things a bit because it's like I'm gonna highball this so much. It's like no, okay, so this is realistic. I'm telling you.
Wow. Okay. Very realistic.
Yeah. So, well, when you eat things like what the joy is, honest to God, is the fragrance and the
Flavor.
Yeah. So the flavor. And you want it because of that. And when you would come back to it because it was released when you did it.
So if we like a hamburger, while we're enjoying that hamburger, lipids and kinetins are being released.
They sure can be, but they up to a certain point where somebody could have something that's like that. But let's say it's something which can exist itself because it has opiates. What the food is, because let's say that isn't a vegetarian or plant-based burger, but something else. The degree to which actually what the material is there, it will be something overcome because the scale is working where something is. So it's a good example because like somebody, could they be really, really happy and be able to digest something? Yes. It's better that they would be in a happy state to be able to digest whatever they ate. That's the first thing. Second, so that's number one. So that's going to cause you to have a longer life than kind of figuring out what is in there and stuff. Okay, so that's number one. Second, it would be, okay, so well then what about after that? You see, you've got three phases of things goes on. You've got toxins and you've got to kind of have to clathrate those toxins to clear them out, okay, so the body can see. That's one job they have to do. Second job they've got to do is they've got to make these water soluble and see what we can do to start to neutralise them, you know, so that's the second phase. And the other phase is like, they've got to be annihilated and it's disappeared, you see. So sometimes some of these toxins are colloid in their function and you've got to smack those with a hard voltage. So our body does it, but you've got to have substance to do it.
What's the best way to get some
selenium and fluorine.
What about salt?
Selenium and fluorine, you see. So living on the coast at the beach is going to get you these things.
Okay.
But other things will like cruciferous vegetables, various things that you do just naturally anyway, like cabbage, you know, and things just like this. But especially if it's done in a way that's like temperature relative, you know, it keeps some goodness, what's that, you're going to have some benefit from it. But a lot of things that most people eat aren't going to get down to these tiny small molecules, you see?
And that's
this is what the show is about, actually. Okay, that's what we want to get to. Well, methylation is only for
who?
Atoms. For atoms.
Methylation. And that's a t-shirt right there, methylation.
Methylation. Please excuse me, are you methylated? Yes, because we're over-methylated, you see. People could be over-methylated, but most people are under-methylated well until at least like that too.
Over-methylation.
There's nothing happening going on there. Have you ever seen like, is somebody home? Do you know what I mean? It's like, wow. It's like,
That's over nothing.
what you want to give them a score? Like, how much are they home?
Okay.
Can you- Right? With some people like, let's see, on the street where you were, like just walking.
Can't say to the chat people.
Could I tell
going upstairs or
how much?
in the general? Yeah.
How much you give them a score? Like 10 would be like, oh, this is awake. This is like, hi, how you doing? Like, you know, this is like, you know, they've got. Let's see, what would the other one would be? Kimbo. A Kimbo is like, you know, it's like, yeah, don't come near me, sort of Kimbo.
Wow.
So Kimbo would be 1, 10 would be good, but where would you rate most people? You think?
It depends on
That's very, very honest.
It's really honest. I mean, if you take it, it's going to be 11 or 12.
Yeah. Well, those are things which could be not so quite right because, of course, because the substance themselves is a powerful matter of fact. You see, this is a problem, but it's also got toxic conditioning and stuff like that. So it could be not so good.
All right, and that's us. We're going to take a break now, and we'll be right back before you even know it. All right, see, we're back already, folks.
Is there flexible people yeah, because this is actually any element in the system that's got the most flexibility in the system's got front.
I don't know.
It's a more controllable system.
You know, now that we're back, Sasha has a great question for you, Dr. Jeff.
Okay, so the flexibility basically is based on weapons and how you could, like what kind of things that you could think or what kind of things that you could do, particularly the things that would promote endogenous leptin production without consuming. It's like without being inoculated from the outside, just, you know, so without consuming or ingesting.
Right.
Things
that do that.
Natural things you can do, like yoga or
for instance,
exercise
like, where no dialogue is, like we were talking about before, you've got this epsilon wave more with what you're doing, plus you have a lambda wave too, which is a little above that. So these waves, most people kind of really didn't investigate much because they only had equipment that would look for kind of something that happened in a light second, 1 second or something, you see? Because they didn't think that, no, some waves actually happen every like 11th second and natural, but somebody could have more control where that is and they could have more gamma wave, and so it shows up. So they have more lambda wave and more this wavelength which goes the epsilon wave very below, and it's very flat. It's sort of like you're flatlining kind of thing, you know. But in that flatlining, it's sort of a very, very fast pace, like beta, gamma wave is sort of very fast. And so it carries that through the brain. So one thing is that where integration is, for instance, like, it just means like a flow between the parts, you see. Where anybody's doing anything, you've got a bit of a flow between the parts, something that's going to work better. The other thing would be something is parallel and processing itself. And so these are things which cause leptin to be released more and kinetin and things like this, because both hemispheres are cycling together more in a hemisynchronization. But these things are very, very small molecule, and so you've got to go down to things which is on a very, very fine level, as a matter of fact. And right down there you find more stellatedness. It looks like a sort of a flat, but it's not. It actually is the most radical sort of fast-paced, like flute sound, matter of fact, where it's cultivated. So we cultivate this because we can not have association. That's one thing, because when we associate stuff, it could be typical that something is pulling us out of what could be, but you're getting what this is because it's just like anyone. You're in a face validity about things, which we all are, and that is the most powerful validity, matter of fact. So how much is it that I was able to look at something per se without bias? Is the degree to which it's possible for me to have leptin for sure and kinetin and these things, because you've got a greater amplitude of energy, because when both hemispheres of the brain are cycling as one, it's adding up, you see, in its amplitude.
This
Right.
is important
Amplitude.
information for people that are obsessed with politics. This is great information for them.
Obsessed. Well, yeah, but where would we want to pick on any one thing? Because, like, I mean, the topic itself, subject-wise, you wouldn't want to pick on any one thing per se. But topics that cause people to be polarized more without their knowing, and that there are a lot of polarization which exists where things are itself, you see. So it's that's state specific with a lot of things that's like that. But if it's a game which one would look and see, you know, but more than that, perhaps something could be really cared. But might that be another system other than the system that we've thought? But it is what's sort of not being used. So it's sort of like an uncommon common sense, and things about what we could do in our day to be better innovation wise. Also, is often like this uncommon common sense. So you see,
T-shirt.
it's uncommon.
That's a T-shirt.
Right?
Uncommon common sense.
Yeah, well, uncommon. It's uncommon, you see. But it's common sense, but it's uncommon.
Okay.
But it would be like it. When you listen to the birds, they always got a sound, and no matter what, they go down, you see. And same to the horse. If you get the sound of the horse right, you know.
It's funny you
Because-
mentioned birds and horses because those are very common sense animals.
Yes.
They
So
use it a lot.
right. So when we listen to birds and horses, a horse will go right, and so it goes starts up high, down low. Good, you got that right. And then what about birds? Birds also they make sounds like ka-dum, you know, ka-dum, and that's a sound that comes in and goes down, sort of thing. So in
Very
nature,
common sense.
coming in and going down is sort of nice, you know, with sounds that like take you out of your body, like whoop, 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 you know, or like door alarms or stuff like that. It's sort of like could be jarring to people, you see, which people state, damn, that's a jarring sound, see, sort of thing. Yeah. So like something which is your voice, of course, like which you could be heard across, I don't know, the yard, whereas I have to get up really close for anybody to be able to hear what I'm saying. So some people have a very good voice. It carries and will pass straight through a house or anything, matter of fact, you see. Where other voices are more sort of just get muffled and get sort of intermingled into the fabric where the room is, sort of
Well,
thing.
you know, it depends on what you're doing, what you're saying.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, so, but some, which could you say that, like, sometimes something is being said with a bit of purpose, sort of thing, you can hear that, right?
Oh yeah, you can tell.
Right. Well, what about, like, do you have a feeling that something is between the things said, actually?
Something's going
Yeah,
on there.
yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
subtext.
Yeah. You have a feeling that actually that is what gets you.
Well,
That's what gets you. No, it's not what they said. Trust me, it's like what somebody living within themselves. That's the big thing. It's
All
like,
about inner dialogue, that's what came out.
yeah, it's like a huge sort of space, which has got something in there. But because it's not known, it's just sort of like blank. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what about somebody who had their mind lobotomized? Have you ever? I mean, it doesn't sound like
I've done it to myself many times.
No, okay.
But I don't think it.
Oh, well, you're really thinking about it this way too practical. We were talking about surgical sort of lobotomies. But no, this is true, what you said, actually. You see, it's lobotomizing. But no, the only point that I wanted to say was like, what happens when something is supposed to be there, right? But it's missing. And so how do you know what's missing? When it's missing. That's all right.
You know, for one, the eyes are very blank. The eyes are blank.
So this is the reason why you did this program, like, honest to God, because, like, you know, people need to have a priority about things.
Endocannabinoid system.
And priority would be starting with the Great River, like detox and stuff like.
Yeah.
And so number one would be the Great River would be the gut, and then you're moving on to the lymphatics after that, and then, you know, blood and microcirculation and things. But it always
My first
comes to us this way.
detox. My first detox, I quit going to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
You see, MT is
But I
very
am going back.
practical.
I am definitely going back.
So now that's very good because it's like something that you enjoyed where something is, and you've got some pattern of moderation about what that is.
Well, you know what
And
it gives
so
me?
I think that's probably the best thing.
It gives me leptins and
Leptins.
kinetins.
Yeah. So no matter what, always
Even
something is a
thinking about-
reward, and it makes sense that one would enjoy what that reward is, where this is, but you could grow what that reward is up because eventually, like, isn't it that most people actually are eating different foods than they are now in 5 years?
Yes, definitely.
So everybody that,
Or at least I'm at a point in my life where I noticed it in myself. But when I was young, I mean, come
I've been pretty much eating live food as much as I can because I'm sort of maybe too meditative maybe, but no, but it's actually when you're teaching people to eat low methionine, and they could learn about that because that's what live food is, low methionine. Low methionine, yeah, it's just and you throw that into your life and you learn about it. That would be one thing, another because that makes spike protein, so you don't want that stuff. And then phosphate also makes spiky stones.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it does. Because like all sorts of different sort of calcium carbonate makes sort of rounder stones and things. But calcium phosphate is a very, very sharp stone and creates a lot more damage if you fall over and this sort of thing, you know what I mean? But we want to avoid all of those stones that form. And if we do, we could just have a lemon bicarb shot because like what we talk about is getting these small molecules. You could have a hack right now where you just do a lemon bicarb shot. And you do
sounds
small.
good to me.
Yeah, exactly. Or you could actually do things which is just food, which is live food, and it's really just low methionine.
You
So,
gave me those lemon flavored shots.
Yeah,
They're very good.
Yeah, they are. They're incredible. They should be done at the bar or wherever anybody is. Matter of fact, you see, they're so good. It's the best thing you could do.
At the Guncock Bar and Grill.
Yeah, because it gives you a kick in both directions. You see, because you've got really strong acid, right? And that kicks you in the front, like really like hard. But at the same time, you're getting kicked from behind in the same moment. And that's the bicarb, and that's the north negative, you see. And you bring those two things together, and it's voila, you see. You've got something in and up. And that's what we need to have.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is down and out. What is that?
Now,
That's not a good direction.
And you said leptins and kinetins. Huh?
Leptin, yes, and kinetin.
Kinetins.
That's right.
Lead to DMT.
Longer life.
Longer?
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
longer
DMT,
life.
yes, they
The
do.
DMT, and which stands for...
The smallest molecule,
What's DMT stand for?
dimethyltryptamine.
What?
Tryptophan.
Okay.
Dimethyl.
You could do this one,
And that's what we
Adolfo.
want to get to.
Well, tryptophan
Dab.
is an aromatic
Boom.
amino acid. Can give you a
Actually,
clue,
you
isn't
should
it?
do this
Actually,
side.
all the neurotransmitters
Boom,
and things that
boom,
are made out of phenylalanine, or
And you put your head on the right.
tryptophan.
Uh-huh.
You
Did you
see,
say
Boom.
the leptin and the kinetin
Right?
is a journey?
Right hand,
these
over left,
molecules are so
Boom.
small that you make these molecules.
and then you put your head to
where
the right.
Sweetness exists.
Chest to
where you've
chest.
got your bone gland,
Boom.
where you've got your pancreas. But where
Dap
you
it up.
And,
Right
somebody
hand over
doesn't
left,
have time, you know,
double
but then
dap.
you look, you go, wow, these people are not
Cross.
too much home or something. You know what I mean?
Go
You can
across,
give them a
right?
score for sure.
Chest to
but
chest,
It's sort of
where
really
your heart is on the left
how
side.
like somebody is and what
That's
they
what we'll do, okay?
And it's certain that food stuff can help where that is, but also mindset. Like, you know, I think what Sasha brought up was just the question of framing things positively where things are, but that if somebody's got their septal region function, it's because they've got interest and pleasure.
That's good, right? And then if you want to hold it, you can let go and just grab.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
To
that's
get the
trick. So
oxytocin,
how could somebody do
30
this? This
seconds.
is that with meditation, and somebody's doing it good. So your art is your life is your art, and you know, things have got to flow where you are, so it fits in and this sort of thing. Yeah.
The best way to get a cheap high of leptin, and kinetin, the best way to get a quick high from it, what do you do?
Well, could you imagine just the difference between something that was sort of dead, you couldn't really get much from it, but now, what about a black olive that was grown in the Andes and high Andes, and they used a bit of ocean with evaporated salt from that, and that just got the sunlight up there, and it was grown up there, and they're so delicious, they're soft, you put one in your mouth, and it just like takes
Olive.
time, but you drink it.
Yeah.
Man, this is the most incredible freaking thing I've ever had. Why? Because it's
Hell
got
yeah.
enzymes. Most people have heard of Lorenzo's, oil, and it's the lactose and things that's in the oil and in the lignans and things, and like, why doesn't people just leave the oil alone? Because now it's going to be good. Do you see what I mean?
So
That's what the ancient olive tree oil that I used to have.
So if I was
I remember.
a chocolate chip cookie, would that give me Lipton's?
Up to a certain point, you get a certain amount, perhaps from that chocolate. They've used maybe cocoa butter. These are things and stuff that absolute no question about it, mate. But you're going to get these tiny small particles that act and such like this. That's
But
why, like theobromine.
I can do an
and
action that would create the Lipton's and things, right?
you
There's
are.
an
That's
action
right.
I
That's
can
what's up.
take, right?
Yeah.
So what would be a simple action?
Good question. Anticipation of a feeling of a good time that's coming. Like, yeah, because when you start to think, wait a minute, I think I'm going to have this, or I think, so suddenly, like, you start releasing
of a good time starts that
amphetamine-like properties.
and that
Starts releasing amphetamine-like properties.
Starts getting them going.
So it's like a rush of for things like this. But somebody more in a meditative state is these things, because you've achieved emptiness in yourself from achieving this.
Yeah.
Bliss is just flowing like crazy, because it takes time to really empty yourself out as you can. Right. But what happens when you just hold your breath for, like, as long as you do, like I was stunned the other day, how long you can hold your breath for. It's like, gee. But you become more an athlete.
I think I was up to like the 37 seconds.
Yeah. Well,
I don't like the breath.
yeah, okay. Yeah, you're like me. I'm a bit underscoring it, maybe.
Super, extremely humble. I just hate to show it.
Yeah, well, we fit a bit because I don't want to be extravagant, you know what I mean? Especially when you're talking about leptins and kinetin, you see, and being able to travel and come from away. But what does somebody do where they are on the road and things that's like this? And also to how hospitable is it that you could feel of your acceptance, because that brings it to you more. Yes? So that's kind of our program could be a bit about this, I'd say. It's like, really, what is your expectation? Because that the expectation is sort of pre-framing, and it's pre-cognitive.
I'm creating leptins and kinetics right now because somebody's cooking fried chicken. I can smell it, and it smells amazing.
Well, I've got some definite, fragrances that things are being prepared with and what have you. But that, yeah. So, but the thing is that something has existed in just in natural air, which we do have in fresh air, which could be rated and it like be really up at around 4,000, let's say, versus like really good air might be 1,000. And then bad air might not even have much rating at all.
So the ideal altitude to live in?
Well, an altitude is something up to a certain degree, because if you live down close to the sea, you could have a lot more radiation. But you could live in the mountains where a lot more radiation is too. It's sort of like where older rock is, it's general that you're going to maybe have a longer life where that is. But people will live longer over rock and sand more and things where energy just passes through. But where clay is and things are built over the top of that, it's sort of like a lot more homogenization of the field that comes through. So we live longer and over certain sort of soil types and this sort of thing. So
we live longer just by where we live?
Yeah. Well, at the ocean, you're going to have a lot more radiation, which you do.
Mind blown.
And so people don't live as long at the ocean. They live longer, more up in the mountains, more somewhat, you know.
Wow.
But if you've got vista, I mean, that's the key. I mean, how beautiful is that?
So just by choosing where I'm going to live, if I'm conscious about it, I can increase my lifespan.
By the things that you do in your home to create such like that, you're sort of like making a horizon, like we started to talk at the beginning of the program. You're making a horizon, and this is the most important thing, really, because most of us don't really get to see the horizon. Do
Talk.
much. We've got walls in front of us. But what do you do to
One word.
those walls? To see the ways of art to do such, and that is the key.
A view.
Got it?
I'm telling you, a view.
Job talk, one word on Spotify.
So if somebody was emptying themselves themselves, they'd be able to see more for sure. If somebody was able to feel inside, because they were empty more to be able to feel. But I think that's something that was cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's on fire alarm. It's all right.
Yeah. Will we keep going with the fire alarm? Though people could think that's at their own place. I mean,
That's
I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, I've been listening to one of the shows.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a fire alarm. Somebody was cooking and
yeah.
and it's all down. There we go.
But it's an interesting thing that ceramide, which could be just the most dangerous sorts of things, is in fact is cooked fats, where someone is, of course. The cooking of fats and things and making a smoke and things that's like it can be the most dangerous sorts of substances if you look it up. No faculty. But we confuse things with something about it that's interesting, but something could be a bit toxic too. And where we draw the line with that is because you've also got a lot of natural fragrance, but you've got so much unnatural fragrance and kind of a bit of a difference. And could somebody say, oh, well, I could feel that is natural versus this is not natural.
Wow,
Do you see, money? Yeah. So I wish we could just stick with the things which is natural, because then nothing is to come up for anything at all. But we do things today like things are. And people could do things which it's probable that in a restaurant, for instance, you want to be light with the amount of fats that's smoked out, because it would cause a restaurant not to be felt good. But something about a restaurant would be the aromatics, matter of fact, that you could smell, like garlic, onion, rosemary, basil, tomato, lipine, and things just like this. Yes, they all fall into a class of like leptin and things. You see, right? And the DNA of the fruit and the things that was made there could come down into kinetin, and providing that they haven't been cooked up too much and this sort of a thing, they've got some value. If it's got its zeta potential, it means it's going to get right into its smallest places. And these things have got to be cold processed. And this is sort of really 6th generation types of formulas and this sort of thing, which we're into at the moment. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go, folks. Amen. That's what we got for today. Great stuff. Of course, I'm sure we'll talk about it again in some way. Don't forget. Don't forget. What a terrible.
No, that's we all understand.
Be sure.
Remember.
Please remember jubtalk.printify.me. We got our first T-shirt called Bull. It's Bull Dust, simple in the very back. Little word. Jub Talk helped cause. And Dr. Jub, could you please leave us with something simple to do that'll brighten our day?
Well, if somebody has an inner smile with everything they do, you'll be surprised at how that helps where everything is. It could be not anything discernible much, but if it's on the inside of everything, wow, it really is something which you have, which brightens everything. So
the inner smile.
It's like being in a visiting frame, and you're able to visit things like a tourist,
awesome. That's awesome. Sasha, give us something to make our day better that we can do on a daily basis. Something simple.
Yeah, when I was walking here, I said, "Be the sunshine in someone's cloudy day."
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Me,
I have sunshine and what now?
Just kidding. He's the man.
Is here. If you don't know me, I'm Wes Watson, owner of Watson Fit and creator of GP Penitentiary Life.
What? You're welcome so much. That's the fresh. That's that good. That's the fresh one. Mm. Mm. Oop. Okay. Alright, and then there was one more. Where is it? What am I doing here? That's good. I could do more, but that's good enough, right? This way? Something in there already. I don't know. I think that's good. Where is the top? Leave this to the bottom here.
Ribbit. Whoops. The freak? What?
What's the difference then between living and live food?
Okay. Well, Lebens, it's sort of that living food in German? Or Leben, what? What would be living food in German? Lebensfutter. Futter would be Lebensfutter. Would be life food. A living food is a word which is an old word, which is in the German language. And Anne Wigmore, has anybody heard of Anne Wigmore? Yeah. Anne Wigmore came and she heard that there was this festival of living food. And she saw that people at the time, they didn't call it anything except natural hygiene in America. And then there was sort of instincto people that were eating uncooked food. So that was the movement. And then Anne Wigmore came along and she saw that people were eating uncooked stuff, but they were eating uncooked flesh, raw flesh. They were eating raw eggs, raw fish. They were just taking beans and grains and grinding up to a flour and making patties out of it. And this is just raw food. You know, but it could be just as raw as a telegraph pole. But not be digestible. So raw food is just, hey, that could be a telegraph pole. It's just unprocessed, but it's not Lee's lot, which is the principle of life itself.
Can this food, that's just the question that you have in your mind, can this food produce itself? Is a cousin of what you eat, can a cousin be found growing wild somewhere, or no? We can't find anything like carrot, which is selected from Queen Anne's lace, which is nothing like the carrot you eat today, which is one of the newest vegetables, is the carrot. But that carrot cannot sterilise against fungus in the soil. So if you're a farmer and you grow carrots, only 1 or 2 seasons will pass, and if you never replanted them, they'll finish. They'll be peated up. They won't continue to grow. Why won't they continue to grow? Fungus. Because fungus in the soil overcomes it. Okay? So the carrot doesn't have any forces left to sterilise against fungus at all. So when we do carrot, there's a lot of things problematic with carrot, because it's undigestible protein. It also has it's called a runaway sugar in there, which is a disaccharide sugar. So foods which won't grow on the earth and won't reproduce itself that we're eating tends to have various problems about it in the way that it fits into our blood and affects our blood. Okay, let's see, what have we got next here? Our body should really be a lot like with having ions, positive and negative ions. You can't survive without positive and negative ions and ionisation. And the stomach's forces has a force which is spinning to the right and down and out. You know? So the stomach's forces have a force which is spinning down and out. So the forces of the upper stomach is called cationic, and its forces are spinning down and out like that, and then it's met with bicarbonate elements that come from the pancreas and the liver, and that meets down and out with in and up, and that's anionic energy. So without the forces of the liver and pancreas to provide this, there is no in and up, and there is only down and out. So when you feel down and out, it is because the upper stomach is producing the forces which is causing you a sweeping of your energy and sweeping round to the right like this, round like this, and it's going down and sort of travelling out like that. So when we have no neutralisation of it, that's the churn.
Really?
It feels slightly down and out. And not so there's because there's no energy in and up. Energy comes from down and out, meaning in and up. And this is called ionisation, and the electrons are given off. But if you do not have this ionisation occurring, there is no energy.
Cabbage.
The stomach's forces not connecting and neutralised by the forces of the liver and pancreas, which we're going to talk a bit about as far as leaf smut is concerned. So far what we said,
Broccoli Rob?
said this, there is food and leaf smut
Interesting.
for humans.
I like that.
It has exactly the right ratio of the things which we evolved to have.
Hmm.
We don't have any
Hello?
carnivorous teeth, none. Our teeth exactly in somatotyping fit exactly into a frugivore's, not a herbivorous animal. We're not really grass to have. We don't have a ratio of the things which we evolved to have. We don't have any carnivorous teeth, none. Our teeth exactly in somatotyping fit exactly into a frugivore's, not a herbivorous animal. We're not really a grass eater, a leaf eater, though we can eat some grass and leaf, and we should eat some grass and leaf, but we're not really grass and leaf eaters. We're frugivores. Everything that comes from a fruit, everything comes from a flower, that's the body of a flower, is called fruit. So a seed is a fruit, a nut is a fruit, cucumber is a fruit, cauliflower, broccoli is a fruit,
What?
squashes are fruits, tomato is a fruit. These are all fruits, not vegetables. So seed is a fruit, nut is a fruit in botany. Avocado is a fruit. Right.
It's a fruit.
So mostly we're more frugivores actually. You see.
and then some herbivorouснess is possible for us. But we're supposed to really have energy, and we really are supposed to be more connected, more in an environment a bit more like this in life. Houses and paving, girders, building, no sky, no roof, no light, living in the home, and all this sort of thing is not so good.
What about sprouts?
Sprout. You can now, Anne Wigmore saw that people were just sort of taking a grain and a bean, grinding it up and making patties out of the pigs. And she saw that grain and bean is in a suspended animation. And that when it's soaked and it starts to sprout, the enzyme inhibitors are released from that bean or that grain. And that she coined this principle, living food. And she defined this because people in the raw food movement, they were just doing flesh, just doing unprocessed stuff, and there was no real science. So living food is vegetarian, whereas raw food can be raw flesh. If you say you're a raw food, you could be doing raw flesh, raw eggs, who knows? So living food, she would take a grain and then sprout it. I happened to be introduced to Anne many years ago, and I became her scientific advisor after a short period of time. And for the last 3 years of her life, I was her scientific advisor. And she was changing what she was doing over to leaf smock or live food. Because when I looked at her program, I saw a couple of things. First, it was vegetarian, which that's fabulous. We're going to talk a little bit about. But she had sprouted grains, sprouted beans, she had chickpeas, mung beans, azuki beans, soybeans, she has corn, carrot, wheat, banana, dates, and pineapple. And then she has some avocado. And basically, most all the food that she had, that she called living food, was food which when I observed it, I saw that these were foods that she had, which none of those foods could really grow wild. And they weren't even anything close to a cousin. There wasn't even a cousin in the wild.
Cousin.
And I just wondered to myself, I wonder what the reason is why those foods, which Anne had in her home, which she called living food, could be found growing wild anywhere. Why can't they be found? Why can't they grow wild? And that led me to investigate, study that there are natural passifrages. It's going to be a small exam after this. Thank you. Passifrage. Okay, passifrage is a word like vitamin. But passifrage means simply natural antibiotic. The forces in a food, which is its natural antibiotic, are called passifrages. P-A-C-I-F-A-R-I-N. Pacifarin. Pacifarin. Pacifarin is a natural antibiotic. And so all fresh fruits and vegetables, seeds and nuts, except for foods, have these natural passifrages in it, which we absolutely is a necessariness. When you do food which doesn't have those, you're going to end up with a condition in here and in the blood, which is not going to be nice at all. I think I've made some pictures of that. Okay. All these red and blue colours are meant to be a small amount that we consume during the day, which causes your eyesight in the day to be incredible. If you do green during the day, though, your eyesight's going to be poor during the day. You're going to have can't manage too bright a light. You have to sort of squint your eyes and it's too bright, it feels too bright. If you're doing too much green, if you're doing green during the day, you'll have fairly good night vision, but your day vision will be really bad. We're not herbivorous animals, but you can have some herbivorousness at the end of the day, a little bit of green and things, but excess green during the day is going to cause you to sort of have some sensitivity to light, but it's going to cause other problems as well. But red and blue and things like this is meant to be a small amount of that, perhaps to be brought into the day. But food is meant to be suspended also, so you're not really meant to eat all the time. When was the last time these little work, the work again, you got a rest? Have they had a vacation?
What is vacation for them? How long time?
Oh, well, the first vacation is not breaking your fast, letting that meal go. So you don't break fast if you can help it. Because that's the rest that only will get. The rest that he gets is when you defecate and it's empty, and the time that it's empty. But the moment you start bringing food in, that's the rest. It's finished. No more rest. So digestive tract would be not really getting any rest. Most people's digestive tract is not really getting any rest at all. You know? And there's no vacation. You know? They go, please let me get a few days off. What about half a day? You know, and the captain upstairs says, no, right. Yeah, cornflakes for me. Oh, gee. So then they have to do a lot of work. But okay.
When you're talking about rest,
Ew.
drink water in that time?
No, yes, you hydrate your blood as you can. Personally, I recommend to people they might consider drinking their own urine because of all the elements that's in there. But you might have to learn more about this, but that's what I do. And you know, I was a breatharian for a little more than 10 years. And one of the things that I did was my own urine, which I did most everything that I produced.
Breatharian?
Which eventually there was no defecation or nothing. And except if I flushed my intestinal tract out with some salt water or something, there'd be nothing in there at all. But,
Miracle.
yes. I recommend that you might consider to do this for your life. But anyway, just imagine this. Would you like to be the best in your field for 2 years? No matter what your field is, I can guarantee you'll be the best in your field in 2 years if you just drink your pee.
What?
2 years. I can guarantee you'll be the best in your field in 2 years if you just drink your pee. That's all. So it's going to be handed to you, the best in your field, you'll drink your pee for 2 years. You know? Now, you drink for 5 years, automatic genius. Genius. Okay? Automatic. It's going to be given to you. You've drank the urine for 5 years. Drink for 7 years, automatic sainthood.
Sainthood. Drink your pee for 7 years for sainthood. What was that?
Drink for 7 years, or years, you know. Now, you drink for 5 years, automatic genius.
Genius.
Genius. Okay, automatic.
Drink your pee 5 years.
You've drank your urine for 5 years. Drink for 7 years, automatic sainthood.
I think he said, let's go wee. Really? I don't know. Didn't get that last part. I wonder if it goes the same for cleansing. If you cleanse for 7 years, the liver flushing, live food. Because that's what uropathy is, right? Healing? Your own medicine? Hup! It's called a whiff or something. Chocolate, maybe. Let's go. What you're saying is all is one? That's like with the Celtic salt issue. who's not toxic. Woo-woo. I think broccoli is cool though. Especially when you're talking about organic, you know? Broccoli and cheddar. That's healing right there. All right. Let's see. I do that. The good news is it's from cabbage. So that's it right there. Too easy. Too easy. Off to FedEx. Shipping to Maine. In advance. I'll be there next week. Got everything I need in there. The dehydrator. The molds. The labels. The packaging. The utensils. And I think that's it. The coins. Well, that's the labels, but all I need is the ingredients. We're gonna order them through Amazon. Cha-ching. All right.